Welcome to Everything Explained. Today we're asking a big question. Why don't we have a universal language that everyone speaks? It sounds simple, almost elegant. One language, no miscommunication, faster meetings, clearer diplomacy. But the world is built on 1,000 small interactions that pull us in different directions. So let's dive in. What would a universal language look like? Why have people tried to make one, and why has the idea stayed more dream than reality? Imagine traveling through an airport lounge where people are speaking every language under the sun. You hear quick exchanges in English for business, a grandmother bargaining in Spanish, a student asking for directions in Mandarin. Now imagine a single language you could learn once and use everywhere. It sounds efficient, almost inevitable. And yet history shows us that such an idea collides with culture, power, and everyday human habit. A quick stroll through history helps. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, two big projects tried to do this. Volapük faded fast, too strange for most people. Esperanto, created in 1887, was designed to be easy to learn. Regular grammar, simple sounds, no hard exceptions. It still exists, with clubs, literature, and a small global community. So why didn't it become universal? Because languages are not just tools, they're living worlds. They carry memories, jokes, poetry, stubborn quirks, and identities. People don't want to surrender that. There are practical reasons too. A universal language would need to be learned by billions, and who would decide which language it is? If one country or one bloc pushes it, it feels like cultural dominance, a kind of soft imperialism. Language is power. It's not neutral. In many parts of the world, people see their mother tongue as a foundation of culture, family, and even sacred practice. Asking a child to switch can feel like erasing a piece of their history. Then there's the friction of change. Even with a universal language chosen, learning it would require a massive social shift. Schools would need reform, publishing would rewrite, and media would switch. The cost would be enormous, and the benefits would take years to show up for everyone, not just the migrants and travelers who would gain the most. A useful analogy is to picture the world as a garden with thousands of different flowers. A universal language would be like planting one bloom everywhere. It would make certain paths easier, yes, but it would overshadow the rest of the garden. The variety is a strength. The different languages encode different ways of seeing, different jokes, different ways of naming the world. Losing that would mean losing a lot of local wisdom and identity. Still, the idea doesn't die. Many people point to English as a de facto global language. It's not official, but it's everywhere in business, science, entertainment, and the internet. The catch is messy. It's not a perfect fit for everyone, and it doesn't capture nuance. Think of a lecture delivered in English to a room full of people with many native tongues. People switch to phrases in their own languages, use humor that relies on cultural context, and nod at idioms that don't translate cleanly. Real communication, in other words, is a mix, not a clean relay race. That's where technology comes in. Real-time translation and AI-powered chat tools promise to shrink the gaps between languages. You could argue those tools make a universal language less necessary. If you can translate on the fly, you don't need to learn a new tongue. You learn how to ask the right questions and read the signals your conversation partner is sending. Yet even the best translator can't capture shared experience, tone, or sacred humor that binds a culture. Language isn't only about words. It's about belonging and memory. There's a steady reality behind all of this. There are roughly 7,000 languages today, and many are endangered because younger generations stop speaking them. A universal language might help reduce some friction in global business, but it could also hasten the decline of minority tongues. If we chase one lingua franca at scale, we risk throwing away a kind of human biodiversity that feeds creativity and resilience. So what's the best path forward? It's probably a pragmatic balance. We use common languages for broad communication, English, Mandarin, Spanish in different regions, or any other fit for the moment, while preserving and supporting local languages and cultures. We also invest in good translation technology and language education, so people can choose to learn what serves them best. In many ways, the future of language could be more about bridges than brackets, tools and learners that link diverse tongues rather than enforce a single voice. The dream of a universal language is appealing because it promises clarity and unity. The reality, though, is messier, and also more humane. Our world is richer when many voices can speak, listen, and be understood in their own terms. If we can keep the doors open to all languages while using clever tools to bridge gaps, we'll get the best of both worlds. Thank you for listening to Everything Explained. Stay curious, and keep the conversations going across every language you meet.